wondered how despite rising inflation, rising labor cost of material, the price of your favorite packet of chips still remains the same? Shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation.
Hi there, I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor and let's talk shrinkflation. Shrinkflation is the inflation that you, the customer, are not supposed to see. Tell me, what are you most likely to pay attention to when you buy, say, a bag of chips or buy a soap bar? Most likely the price. You will probably check the expiry date, and that's it, right? So what can companies do in face of increasing production costs and market competition to ensure that you keep buying their product? Instead of making it more expensive, they reduce the size of the product. It's like tum bhi khush, hum bhi khush, but are you really happy? Not really, right? Because after all, a small product size means that you have to increase the frequency of buying that product. So the ghost of inflation is still haunting you, but the company has found a way out. Let me give you a sense of this. So you know a 10 rupee Parle G biscuit packet. It used to weigh 140 grams till around a year ago. Now it weighs 110 grams. That's over 20% cut in quantity. The MRP remains the same, but the quantity became smaller and you didn't even get to know. Those small bottles of Thumbs Up and Coca-Cola, which earlier used to be 250 ml, your favorite drinks now come only in a 200 ml. Again, 20% cut in quantity. Let's talk about everybody's favorite, Nestle's Maggi noodles. Over the years, the price of those single packets have risen by 10 to 12 rupees. And the size has reduced drastically. From 100 grams, they are just about 70 grams now. So the price has gone up while the grammage came down. And this is not new. Shrinkflation is a tool companies have been using for decades now to fight inflation, but not impact the sale of the product. And they come up with creative ways of doing this. Several times, you don't even get to notice. For things like bottles and soaps, etc., they can change the shape of the bottle, thereby giving you less volume in a new packaging. For chips, they might just put in a few less and nobody will notice. For items like wafers, they can lesser the chocolate they put in a thinner wafer as well. Reduce lighter and lesser packaging, all these are tools that companies use. And it's not just foods and drinks. Even Kleenex shrunk the number of tissues it pulls in a small box. It's not 65 anymore, it's just 60 pulls. In fact, let's take a big picture industry view. Now, according to the data analytics firm Kantar, in the time period between February-April 21-22, the average price paid per kilo for FMCG products jumped by 10.1%. But in the same period, the average pack size reduced nearly by 15%. And guess what? The number of FMCG packs purchased rose by 15%. Now you see how that works? Shrinkages, in fact, are more common at price points like 5, 10, 15 rupees because the company would rather reduce the size a bit than raising the price by numbers like 7, 12, etc. And before you start thinking that this is some scheme in which Indian companies are scamming you, it's not really, guys. It's a global phenomena. Experts say that shrinkflation isn't new at all. The term was coined back in 2009 by the British economist Pippa Malmgren. However, in times of high inflation, they say it gets more common. And that time of high inflation is now. Look at the global figures. United States and Spain is touching a 40-year high. In Germany, inflation is nearly 5-decade high. And the story continues across countries, including India. In India, Consumer Price Index, which measures retail inflation, giving an idea of the cost of living, has gone up to an 8-year high. A top IMF economist, in fact, has warned that inflation poses a clear and present danger to many countries. And for some of you still wondering what exactly is inflation, it basically means that costs are rising up, right? So what are companies going to do to ensure that their costs are in control? They are quietly just reducing the quantity. And market research surveys have also proven it. They show that consumers tend to focus more on the increase in the sticker price of the MRP rather than the size or the weight of the product. Now, while shrinkflation may be a good tool for companies to fight inflation, remember there is a catch there. It works only in the short term and especially during the early stages of the inflationary cycle. If continued in the long run, it will turn ineffective. It will hit your disposable income and reduce your and my purchasing power. That's a thought that even the managing director of Amul, Mr. R.S. Sodhi, echoes.
There is only a limit till which you can probably reduce, your pack size, beyond which consumers would not see value in it. So beyond a point, shrinkflation, will not help.
And that's a thought that has got the government of India cracking down on shrinkflation as well. The central government will make it difficult for companies to covertly reduce grammage. A notification issued by the Consumer Affairs Ministry in March of 2022 now makes it mandatory for companies to display price per unit, and it will be applicable from October onwards. So, look out for all these essentials that we've just told you about when you go out to buy your products and essentials next time around. Be aware, look for competitive products as well, and shop wisely. This is how you and I, the consumer, are going to combat shrinkflation, and that's why we've got this video for you. That's it from us today. Stay tuned to Money Control for more such updates.